from 9 chapter verse 34. Popular one. If someone has some gadgets, some phones, you can find 9:40 34. Okay, I'll read the text. Manmana bhava madbhakto mam yaji mam namaskuru mama vaishasi yuktaivam atmanam matparayana manmana always thinking of me bhava become mat my bhaktaha devotee mat my no sorry yaji worshipper mam unto me namaskuru offer obeisances mam unto me eva completely ishaisi you will come yuktva being absorbed 9:34 evam those atmanam your soul matparayanaha devoted to me Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Okay, I'll read the translation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Report. In this verse is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of that clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not all of feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, he himself are only one and absolute. He is stated in the Kurma Purana as it is quoted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhashya, comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita, 5th chapter, Adi Lila, verses 41 and 48. Deha dehi vibhyo yam neshvare vidyate kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know the science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. All through, this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna. Some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who is demoniac They also think of Krishna, but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love. This is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is internal, blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind and internal form, the primal form of Krishna, will conviction in his heart that Krishna is supreme. He should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the Krishna deity and engage his mind and body in his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in 9 different processes of devotional services, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely satisfied may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahma, Jyoti, and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. This is a beautiful poem about Krishna, and which is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standards, but still he should be considered superior to all the other philosophers and yogis. One who always engaged in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidentally non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated without any doubt in the devotee has no down, because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. This is the end of Bhaktivedanta Purport of 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of most confidential knowledge. Omagyanti Mirandasya Ginajana Shalakaya Chakshu Kinatasma Shri Guru Namaha Shri Chaitanya. Можете свет пока включить? Да, спасибо. Want to say thank you for everyone for coming. Who knows what month it will be the next one after the November. December, yeah? From the morning it was December. And my presentation, I will try to inspire myself firstly and everyone to make a little bit push ourselves to live not only for ourselves but for another living beings. And the motto of this class will be live to give. Because almost 8 billion or around 8 billion of people who lives on this planet, they trying to live for themselves mostly. And we see around that nobody is happy. They're trying to buy a lot of things. Now it's Black Friday, another Kiber something, whatever. And we all the society, they trying to push everyone to buy the things and to make people happy. But as much we buy, we maybe 5-10 minutes we're happy, and then we're sad again, because we have a hole here in our heart, a black hole. Black Friday, black hole. Yeah. Because in this hole supposed to be the God, Krishna, and he's so big, so powerful, and we're trying to put something in this hole, and it's nothing matches there, we can buy the big fridges and big TVs and something, and we put somewhere, but it's still we have a depression when we wake up, and we mostly in the Monday morning we think we need to work again, and people think depression. But Prabhupada's books are still available, and in these books, and as we see in this purport, in one small text and small purport, we have the whole philosophy and the whole way of life, way of thinking, how to be happy. We need to turn our mind from ourselves to the other living entities, and firstly to the God. And firstly, I want to say that we have around 8 volumes of 80, maybe a little bit more, of Prabhupada's books. Who has some books of Srila Prabhupada at home with Prabhupada's commentaries? Who is reading them? It's another question. we can hold the books in the shelf and think that we are so wise, but if we are not reading them, we will not be happy. In the beginning, I will tell how it started. When Srila Prabhupada was a Bayade, he was a businessman. He was a pharmacist, and he was trying to put his business on, and he was in Gandhi's movement, trying to make free, to liberate the India, so India will be free from British Empire. And from his childhood, he saw a lot of saints, because his father, Gaur Mahande, he was a devotee of Krishna, Lord Krishna. And by the way, Srila Prabhupada said that everything what he knows about Krishna and worshipping Krishna, he knew from his father. He was his first guru. And from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he knew how to print the books and to distribute in English-speaking world in the West. And he came on Radhakund. I'll make this shortly. He went on a Radhakund, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that you're a young man and you can preach in English. And in this talk, he said that one of the donors, he built a temple on Bagh Bazar in Calcutta. And the whole internal problems become between the movement and Gaudiya Math. His Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said about that. Because when the people become a little bit rich than it was before, there is a kind of rich problem. You haven't anything before, and you got the first car, for example. But your neighbor has the bigger car. You cannot be happy right now because neighbors have the better and bigger car, and you're sad and you have a depression again about that. It kind of problem it was there because the brahmacharis, they were thinking what room they gonna take in this big temple on the Bagh Bazar. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was sad about that, and he said it's better to sell all this marble on this new temple, and it's better to sell this marble and to print the books. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, I noted that in my mind, and it become his mission statement in his preaching program. Because we can hear a lot of instruction from spiritual masters, we can read in Bhagavad Gita, and but it's in one ear it comes, in another ear it goes. But if we take something like a meaning in our life, for example, Bhada, he took this instruction to print as much books as possible and to distribute. We'll see Prabhupada the video today. And as I tell that in Kali Yuga we have a lot of problems, mostly because we can see in a lot of wars, some sickness, some illness, some cancer, a lot of problems comes more and more. And people are in totally depression. They have everything. I heard one example that if we will have everything what we desire right now, the new cars and helicopter and something, whatever, it's possible. I don't know what you're dreaming for. And we'll be on some small island, but we'll be alone. Will all these things what we have. And how do you think how long we will enjoy by all these things? New iPhones and Apple Watches and everything. Without internet, okay. Any guess? Don't be shy.
Not for a long time.
No, for example, how many days? Or hours?
I don't know. 3 days is maximum.
Yeah, 3 days just to see everything what we have. But if we cannot share with all this with our friends and some with our association with everyone, we'll be sad, we'll be in depression, and we'll thinking about killing ourselves there on this island. Because we live in society and we feel happy, more happy when we think about others. And the most significant what we can give in people's life, it's how to be happy. In these 80 books and more, and we have a books of acharyas, and we have how's the medical subscription. How to be happy. I'll read from the one quote from Prabhupada's introduction in Bhagavad Gita. If we want to take a particular medicine, when we have to follow the direction written on the label, we cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or direction of the friend. It must be taken according to the direction of the label or the direction given by a physician or doctor, for example. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, other text, Bhakti text, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Shri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. There is one story we were telling on Friday in our meeting that once in France, one of the commentators, and he wanted to give a recommendation of the translation of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. And he was saying that I don't give any recommendation of this translation because it's the Sanskrit is totally wrong. It is said that it's Bhagavan, but in translation it is said the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, says. It's not right. And Prabhupada was smiling and he said that this commentator house, this scientist, got the point of my mission. I like this commentator. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he is a teacher of his guru of Srila Prabhupada. He was saying that we our life we live when we preach, and we preach we live. Like to be preach, we need to live. And has some experience when he was telling about Krishna to his friends, and he was feeling something inside, some taste of that. If you haven't such experience, I give you a prescription, like a particular medicine you can try. The Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads, and Lord Krishna, he's himself, he's telling, like, it's original Krishna Katha by Lord himself. There is an English saying, 1 apple a day. Yes. And there is a devotional saying, the same, 1 chapter a day keeps Maya away. If we read at least one verse, 1 chapter a day, so many problems, so many problems of life, it will be away of us. Just try. We can make. I just wanted to say that about December. Why I was telling about December. Maybe nobody every one of us knows that every December in ISKCON, the whole International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we have a marathon. It's Srila Prabhupada marathon of book distribution or sharing these books to others. Firstly, if we don't have these books, we can share with us, and another book for our friends. As we know that the best present is a book, and we have small books we can put in our bag also, and we can take with us, and we'll meet some person we can share, and we give a present to him. I'll tell a story how it's happened, how it started in our Krishna movement. Sorry. It was a couple days before the Christmas in United States. All the disciples of Srila Prabhupada were trying to distribute his books, and one of them staying on the near the mall, and we can see that there is a big parking lots even here in Finland. But I've been twice in United States. It's crazy. Also, it's thousands of lots for the cars. I mean, it's a huge parking lots there, and it's only one entrance or maybe two entrance to the shopping center, and devotees were staying. And usually they were distributing from the morning, from, for example, 9, 10 in the morning to the end, to the evening, to the 8, 9. And they were trying to distribute. And that devotee, he was meeting a lot of people, and they were buying his books more, like 10 times more than usual and other months. And as a result, he stayed 9, 11, and mostly a lot of people, they were taking books from him. And he was thinking, because he was a leader of Sankirtan, of the book distribution, he went to the temple because he was thinking that all the brahmacharis, all the his group, they were waiting for him. And he went to the temple and was nobody there because everyone went to the same situation. Because before the Christmas, it's a religious, everyone, it's a religious holiday, and everyone wants to be a good, to be a charitable, wants to share, wants to buy a present, because if you don't buy a present, you'll be bad in the eyes of other people, and it's better to buy. And that's how it's accidentally started. I want to end here and to show one small presentation. Yeah, okay. The lights on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma. 5,000 years ago in India, many saints and sages gathered on the banks of the sacred river Ganges. They came from throughout the world to witness the last 7 days in the life of the great devotee, King Parikshit. The king had renounced his fabulous wealth to dedicate his few remaining days to spiritual enlightenment. At that meeting, Sukadeva Goswami, the most exalted sage in the assembly, narrated the pastimes and teachings of Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He discussed all aspects of knowledge, from the creation of the material universe to the culture of spiritual life, and held the king and sages in rapt attention. Through the ages, these teachings about Lord Sri Krishna were transmitted intact from spiritual master to disciple. Sripad Madhvacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sri Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and in the early 20th century, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who ordered his disciples to preach Krishna consciousness around the world. He especially desired to distribute Krishna conscious literature in the Western countries. His disciple, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, took this order as his very life.
In 1944, he single-handedly begins publishing and distributing Back to Godhead, a fortnightly. The first issue addresses the crisis of war. The Second World War within 20 years is scourging the earth. Back to Godhead points out that people throughout the world want an end to war. But so often they want God's kingdom without God, and they cannot have it. All our plans will be doomed to failure by our own selfishness unless we turn to God. Following tradition, at age 58, a boy Charan retires from family life, and 5 years later accepts the renounced order.
Sorry.
He is now known as A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. He lives alone in the historic medieval temple of Radha Damodar in Vrindavan, engaged in deep studies and writing. Unlike other holy men who live there, Bhaktivedanta Swami is not thinking of retiring. For him, Vrindavan is a source of inspiration, an ideal place to chant, worship, and write. Here he begins work on his life's masterpiece, translation and commentary on the monumental devotional classic Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhaktivedanta Swami calls it a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society. But often he leaves Vrindavan to print his magazine and books in nearby Delhi. Traveling takes time and tolerance, but Bhaktivedanta Swami accepts it as part of his spiritual mission to broadcast devotional service to Lord Krishna. In Delhi, Bhaktivedanta Swami personally distributes copies of Back to Godhead, and with small donations, struggles to maintain the publication. He regularly sees Surendra Kumar Jain, a printer.
It was somewhere in the month of February 1956 that I first met Prabhupada. He came to my press for getting the magazine printed, Back to Godhead. I found that it was not very easy for him to collect money. He would come to the press practically every day, and after the printing was done, but he was a dedicated person, a very committed person. And at the times when he was not in a position to pay the bills, I would ask him, why are you running this? Why don't you stop it? He would say, no, it is my mission. And one day, Surendra Kumar, you will see that I will succeed in my mission.
By 1964, Bhaktivedanta Swami completes 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri lauds his accomplishment and recommends his books for placement in India's public libraries. Wherever Srila Prabhupada is, he continues to write prolifically. Rising long before dawn, he spends hours translating and commenting on original Sanskrit and Bengali texts.
Sometimes they wash their hands and feet before entering the temple.
His most significant contribution is his universities use them as appreciative reviews.
The narrations concerning the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, are the oldest writings known to man. Over generations, they have influenced civilizations in both the East and the West. Now, under Srila Prabhupada's guidance, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust has become the world's largest publisher and distributor of these spiritual classics. Srila Prabhupada himself is the author of all of the books. He has been acclaimed as the world's most distinguished scholar and teacher of Vedic philosophy and culture. While translating each Sanskrit verse, he refers to books of commentary by previous spiritual masters, and then gives a thorough explanation of the text.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives in this connection a description of the difference of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ordinary living being. So this is the difference of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ordinary living being. This has been described in the previous verse. Sarvam Pumana Veda Guna Sutajam Naveda Sarvagam Mananta Vide. The purport is that Supreme Lord is omnipotent, omniscient. He knows everything. But the living being does not know actually what is the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and ordinary living being.
He also did a very important work in introducing to the Western world for the first time the devotional philosophy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Not only did he introduce these texts, but he introduced them in a way that was quite different from the other translations that had been made. I've read so many different translations, for example, of the Bhagavad Gita, which had all been interpreted from the impersonalist type of philosophy of the Advaita school. And here, you might say, for the first time was a truly devotional translation, a spiritual translation of the text, which I felt really came much closer to the true meaning and the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita.
Established in 1972, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust exclusively publishes Srila Prabhupada's works. It becomes the world's largest distributor of books in the field of Indian religion and philosophy. For Srila Prabhupada, the transcendental knowledge in these books forms the basis of the Hare Krishna movement. Then in October, Srila Prabhupada returns to his old home, Vrindavan, to spend his final days. Even though he is physically incapacitated, Srila Prabhupada's intellect remains clear. He continues dictating translations and comments on his life's work, Srimad Bhagavatam, until days before he departs from this world.
Everything is active, moving by the Supreme desire of Krishna. This consciousness is Krishna Bhagavan.
So we have to simply take instruction from Guru, and if we execute that to our heart and soul, that is success. That is practical. I have no personal qualification. but I simply try to satisfy my Guru. That's all. My Guru Maharaj asked me that if you get some money, you print books. So there was a private meeting talking. Some of my important in God brothers also there. It was in Radha. So Guru Maharaj was speaking to me that since we have got this Bhagavajar and Marble Temple, there has been so many dissensions. And everyone thinking we occupy this room or that room, that room. I wish therefore to sell this temple and the marble and print some book. Yeah. So I took up this from his mouth that is very fond of books. And he told me personally that if you get some money, print books. Therefore I am stressing on this point. Where is book? Where is book? Where is book? So kindly help me. This is my request. Print as many books in as many languages and distribute throughout the whole world. And Krishna consciousness movement will automatically increase.
Шила Прабхупада ки!
We're working on
Еще одна минута. Там звук. Сейчас попробую отсюда. Там, наверное, на этом. Или уже ставить. Подкрутить просто звук отсюда.
We're embarking on another great expedition to Lord Chaitanya's movement to expand Sankirtan all over the world. We're going to distribute at least 3 million Bhagavad Gitas worldwide, and we're going to do it by working together. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given unlimited energy to anyone who asks for it to spread the Sankirtan movement. So in every continent, we're asking everyone to gather your inventories of Bhagavad Gita together and find out the ways and means to make sure that everyone in your town, everyone in your country gets a Bhagavad Gita. 3 million is a preliminary number, but it's our next goal to get us where we want to go, to cover the earth with Bhagavad Gita. Please join us in this campaign. We're working together and we're going to distribute the Bhagavad Gita as it is to make the world a better place. People are going insane because they don't have this knowledge. Let's help them. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.